Continuing our lacrosse game day coverage, I'm Gabe Henderson, joined by Patrick Strawn. And Pat, game one is out the way. The biggest two home games in school history awaits us this week: Colorado, Arizona State. But before we get that far, what was your takeaway just from the Flames' win against West Virginia this past weekend?
Well, I think you saw kind of their big guns had to be their big guns. I mean, Sam Gregory had a great game, 4 goals, also 3 assists, 7 points for him. Then also Caleb Britton got back to doing the things he does, 7 points as well. Carter Elliott, Derek Esch really kind of honed in that midfield area. So, I mean, your scores were your scores. So that was huge. And I honestly think all 4 of those guys, along with some other key contributors, the third attackman, and then even Chase Wright, who fills in that midline role, I think those guys are going to have to be big this coming weekend, and then even more so the tendies, the guys, man, Twine and Harriman and Reynolds, whoever they choose, they got to be the guys. But, I mean, solid outing coming against the Mountaineers, and they did what they're supposed to do. They put up 18 on them and really played strong offensive game.
You talk about Sam Gregory, a guy that stepped up. I mean, I remember last week we were talking about some of those guys have to step up, and if teams are going to shut down Caleb Britton, other guys have to step up in that role. So how impressed were you with some of those role players?
Well, I think the biggest thing that was more impressive were the guys on the back end, the long poles. I mean, they really did a good job. And Wynn McKeever, Ian White, they really did excellent work kind of being the guys. Also Grayson Ryan. I mean, Grayson Ryan forced quite a few number of turnovers. And then we saw a lot of stick lifts. And then Austin Aguilar, I think that was a key factor. I mean, kind of building his confidence because he's going to be arguably the difference maker in these 2 game sets, because if he's able to win that face-off circle and help the Flames get that time possession, like they said, they weren't able to really get a lot of touches, and even Britton said himself, I couldn't really get a feel of the game because we were on defense most of the time. So if he can win that, and then even whoever the guy is in net, like I said, Harriman or Reynolds, if they can have a stellar performance, because obviously the Buffs and the Sun Devils, they're going to bring their A game when they come here to Lynchburg, Virginia. If they can do that, that's going to dictate the tone of what's really going to happen in this matchup. And I think Flames offense is going to fire. You're not going to keep them off of the board. So I think if they're able to just maintain those 2 areas, you're going to see good things for the Flames.
Colorado coming in here Friday.
Yeah.
Arizona State coming here Saturday. But Colorado was the first game. So last year, of course, we saw that they had a close game with those guys. One of those games they probably should have won, and I'm pretty sure those guys are looking at this weekend thinking like, okay, we know we can beat those guys. So what do you think their mindset is going into it?
Well, I think you said it right there. I think this team knows that, all right, we have shown that we can play with this team when we were a team full of rookies. Now we're a bit veterans here, and like you know more than I do because you were out there on the trip with them, so you got to see a little bit of the factor and style that they were play. But I mean, this is a Colorado team that's really tested. I mean, they played Virginia Tech, went to 4 overtime, so that's going to be tired as well. And then they're going to have to make the trip out here. So, I mean, there could be a little fatigue coming in with them. But, I mean, obviously Colorado showed they can dig deep. Like I said, that win against Virginia Tech, losing earlier in the weekend as well to number 3 Chapman. So, I mean, this is a team that's got a tough schedule ahead, and I think they're looking to keep things going, trying to show why not only they're a number 5 team, but also they're former national champs. So, wanted to do that. But I think it'll be a good game on Friday, and I expect a high-scoring affair.
You think Colorado and Arizona State, you think they're going to, the bus legs are going to get the best of them, or you think they're going to come out and attack as well?
I think they're going to come out firing. I mean, you don't propel yourselves to a top 5 and 6 in the country without showing that you can play a little bit of lacrosse, and I think they got guys that are going to be game breakers, and obviously their Flames have a great program. They've done an excellent job, but this is kind of the thing that'll help them take the next step in showing like, hey, we're one of those top teams too. And obviously there's a lot of good quality lacrosse in the SCLC, especially since at least one team in the SCLC has made their way to the Final Four the last 4 years. So
how big does these 2 games shape the national picture for the Flames?
Huge. I think honestly, if you can beat 2 teams in the top, one in the top 5 and the others in the top 10, almost in the top 5, you're going to say we deserve a shot at nationals. I think the Flames, and we talked about it before, they felt a little jaded being ousted out of the national picture last year when they felt like Florida State got the nod and they beat them twice here. So I think this is a case, like in case the Flames don't win the conference, because SCLC is wide open. I mean, obviously we saw Georgia just beat Arizona State. We saw Virginia Tech take it to, who, as I said, 4 overtimes against Colorado. So they're going to be in the picture. Georgia Tech, they're still looking strong, and they're in the top 5 as well. And then also South Carolina, the biggest surprise. I mean, a perfect 7-0 as of right now. So I mean, if they can't find their way to somehow win that conference crown, which we're hoping them to, this will help at least with that at-large bid if they're able to get one of these wins.
Well, like you said, the West Side teams are coming to the East Campus lacrosse fields this weekend. So March 9th, March 10th, Colorado, Arizona State, 2 top teams coming in here. If you cannot join us here, be sure to watch us online. For Patrick Strawn, I'm Gabe Henderson for LFSN, signing off.